In America, we've witnessed a lot and put up with enough. When you come after our kids, we fight back because there's nothing we won't do to protect our children. They're not yours. We will not allow you to exploit their innocence to advance your agenda. We are no longer silent. We are united, and we have finally found our fighter.
But winning the fight in Florida is just the beginning. We must protect parents' rights and the innocence of our children. We must restore sanity in our society. We need every mama and every grandmama in every corner of the country to stand up and fight back by electing Ron DeSantis president of the United States of America. Join us by texting mamas to 512345.
What is it about politicians starting to call people mamas only when they're trying to sound like they're connected to women and mothers? Like, oh, you call them moms. Anyway, fine, whatever. It's just a small thing for me. Join mamas and grandmamas because we're down to earth. Either way it goes, you saw there Casey DeSantis, Ron DeSantis' wife there, releasing, I guess, not her own ad. Someone else made it, but she's definitely featured on it. And again, talking about how these evil people are coming for your children. We're not going to be silent about you attacking and taking over our world as we take away your rights and make sure that you don't have anything to live off of here in this country. Folks are giving the DeSantis folks problems over this because why is Casey now the front and center situation, considering how much we're talking about Ron DeSantis fumbling the ball every time he gets his face up there? Matter of fact, a pro-Trump group made a bit of a comedic video to highlight this low energy from Ron. Watch.
My wife is the strongest woman I know.
She should be running.
Paid for by the committee to elect Jill DeSantis.
Please clap.
I guess they're going with the low energy approach there. But it's a little bit of the strategy that's happening with putting Casey out there, which by the way, I think is pretty normal. I feel like presidential candidates' wives are always a big part of their campaign, especially if they're actually elected. Definitely, they put them front and center. They want to show this whole family situation. So I didn't see it as that odd, but apparently a lot of other folks did. Let's jump down to graphic 3 here, you guys, because this is what people are then mentioning over at the Daily Mail. They said Casey DeSantis hits the campaign trail without Ron, all capitals. Florida's first lady will launch the Mamas for DeSantis at first solo event in Iowa that's upcoming, so she can help him close that gap with Trump, which I'm not even sure what it even is at anymore. But they got images all over about her carrying children on her back and old veterans kissing her on the cheek. She is a woman of the people. Let's look at those images, you guys. The next graphic down here. Because she's going solo. I'm not sure if Ron is behind her, if he's off camera, or if he's just letting her roll with it. Because also, what they also mentioned over the Daily Beast was Casey DeSantis is the Walmart Melania. Damn. I'm no fan of the DeSantises, but man, you send your wife out to campaign for you, and this is the response she gets. Man, I don't think she's going to go back out. What's your thoughts here, Jordan?
I think what they're trying to do here is contrast the DeSantis campaign with the Trump campaign, and namely that Melania really hasn't been seen much. And even when she was first lady, she wasn't as approachable, she wasn't as out front. In the few times that she did make news, it was always for something bad. Like when she wore that jacket that said, "I really don't care, do you?" as she was going to some migrant detention facility or going to the border. The really creepy or Christmas decorations, they looked like Halloween decorations. And then I think the call or the transcript that came out about her being worried about Trump's various crimes. I mean, that's really what people remember her for. And since their departure from the White House, she hasn't been seen. She doesn't go with him on his multiple trips to be indicted across all over the country. She's not out front. She's not at these events. It's weird. That is weird, right? So what they're trying to do is put her out front, say, hey, look, we're a healthy family. They're clearly not. And also, Ron DeSantis is really awkward and weird. He's been getting ridiculed by the press, by pundits, by people online for months now about his weird mannerisms, his facial reactions, just how stiff he is, how unnatural he feels and looks. She does seem a bit more approachable, a bit more normal. Granted, her politics suck. She's just as terrible as him, it seems. But to them, to Republican voters who don't care about that kind of stuff, she's a little bit more approachable and she's actually present.
Can I ask you really fast, Jordan? What is it you think it's possible for Ron DeSantis to do? Because they're trying all these different things to get some kind of traction? I'm just curious because I've thought about this and I don't really know.
I mean, just talk about the issues. Have you heard him talk about anything other than, woke ideology, the woke mob, the LGBTQI plus community, books in schools, Disney? Talk about one single issue. Talk about healthcare. People care about healthcare no matter which political party they are. Some people want different approaches, some people want different systems, but does he talk about it? Was he talking about taxes? Was he talking about, has he talked about foreign policy? No, his main brand is being the anti-woke guy. That's not going to work. To go back to our last segment before break, you run to, in that primary, you run as far to the right as possible, and then in the general, you run to the middle. He's gonna have an impossible task trying to distance himself from all of his primary rhetoric, attacking all of these marginalized groups, attacking things like Disney and LGBTQI plus communities and issues in the general, because a vast majority of people are on our side on that issue. You're not gonna win swing voters by berating, attacking, ridiculing members of the LGBTQI plus community, because we're at a point now where every single person in the country, for the most part, knows somebody in that community. And that's gonna be a tough sell for a voting message. It's just not gonna work.